You're probably here because you're finding it a little bit difficult and finding your way about leadership, finding your way on how to manage people well, and finding your way on how to grow your business as an entrepreneur. Any one of these things are the topics that we cover. I'm your host, Sean C., aka Mr. CEO at 22. I am so glad that you took the first step of being here to learn more about leadership, entrepreneurship, and management because the world needs more people like you. We will help you to invest in yourself because that's something that is worth doing. That is something that is worth learning. If you have questions about entrepreneurship, maybe you're having problems at work or you're having some leadership problems or managing other people, boy, I have news for you. We have what we call a masterclass. Most of the courses in the masterclass deal with how you can generate revenue online. It deals with leadership, how to lead in crisis, how to break through the crisis in business, in entrepreneurship, and how you can manage other people better. Now, I always say the best kind of investment is an investment in yourself. And how much money are we charging for this masterclass? Not a lot. And if you invest in one, it's yours to keep. And if it doesn't, I'll refund you, no questions asked, full refund. So why don't you try it out? Head on over to sean.c/masterclass and check out any one of the courses if it fits any one of the questions in your head. And if you have any questions, you can just put it on the comment section and we'll get in touch with you. We want to know who you are and we want to hear from you. Until then, keep leading. You're probably here because you're finding it a little bit difficult and finding your way about leadership, finding your way on how to manage people well, and finding your way on how to grow your business as an entrepreneur. Any one of these things are the topics that we cover. I'm your host, Sean C., aka Mr. CEO at 22. I am so glad that you took the first step of being here to learn more about leadership, entrepreneurship, and management because the world needs more people like you. We will help you to invest in yourself because that's something that is worth doing. That is something that is worth learning. If you have questions about entrepreneurship, maybe you're having problems at work or you're having some leadership problems or managing other people, boy, I have news for you. We have what we call a masterclass. Most of the courses in the masterclass deal with how you can generate revenue online. It deals with leadership, how to lead in crisis, how to break through the crisis in business, in entrepreneurship, and how you can manage other people better. Now, I always say the best kind of investment is an investment in yourself. And how much money are we charging for this masterclass? Not a lot. And if you invest in one, it's yours to keep. And if it doesn't, I'll refund you, no questions asked, full refund. So why don't you try it out? Head on over to sean.c/masterclass and check out any one of the courses if it fits any one of the questions in your head. And if you have any questions, you can just put it on the comment section and we'll get in touch with you. We want to know who you are and we want to hear from you. Until then, keep leading. All right. Hey, how's it going, guys? Hope you can hear me well. I am going to be fixing my audio on Discord. So I am on Discord, and we have people tuned in on Discord already as well. We are broadcasting to Facebook. We're broadcasting to YouTube, Periscope, Twitch. Haven't been able to get an approval from LinkedIn yet, but hopefully soon we are going to be able to get that. So, Leadership Stack Live, we already have questions. So far from Cedric Choa and Patrick Miguel in Discord. But before I get to that, before I get to the questions, I want to be able to address the new episodes that we have. And that is on Spotify. Let me just pull up that screen. There we go. So we have our latest episode. And that's 1 out of 2. I think the guest I have here is Mr. Lane Kawaoka. And he talks about how he makes his passive income through rentals. Amazing as it sounds, as a young man, he just started buying rental properties and loaning it from the bank. And he was able to make it work, just paying off that loan and being able to make money out of it through the rental income that he's getting. So you might want to tune in to that episode, as that is a really good, especially if you're planning to do real estate, buying properties and renting them out. You might want to listen to that. He points out some really interesting stuff, especially with the ratio of how much you buy the property for versus how much you're paying in monthly rental. So super interesting stuff. I hope you can tune in to that one and learn. We also have our AMA, which again, we record the AMA every Thursday, 8 p.m. That is tonight. And so one of the AMAs that I did, how the right people can turn your business from zero to massive success, is already published. That was published yesterday. If you want to tune in the podcast, the link is leadme.ph/Spotify. There you go. And if you want to ask questions, you're tuned in right now, you want to ask your questions about business, leadership, consulting, just go ahead and enter in your browser's URL bar from.sean.c/Discord. It is right down there. And yeah, that's scrolling. So just follow that URL and you're good to go. Join the community. It's free. Ask your questions. So, first question, what are good habits you practice every day? Wow. Well, when I wake up, first thing I do is I thank God for the day, that I'm still alive and breathing. And it's a new day to live and breathe with my family, with the work I have, my people. And yeah, that's something that just jumpstarts my day for me. Exercising, definitely, and meditation. So that's one thing that I do right now. I meditate for mind and body, and I also meditate on God's word. I make sure to read the Bible every day. And yes, so I realize that I'm doing something new tonight, and that is getting my phone to do a second stream. So I'm broadcasting from my webcam here and my PC, and I wanted to do another stream from my phone. And apparently I couldn't get my phone to stream sideways. It can only stream vertically. So that's a pain. And people are telling me that their necks are not feeling so well already. So yeah, I'm trying that out. Hopefully that works. Let me know your comments and your let me know if let me know if that works for you or not. Next question is, what bad habits have you had before and how were you able to overcome them? Bad habits. Well, definitely not exercising was a bad habit. Spending too much time on computer games was a bad habit. I used to vape. That was a bad habit. I just wanted to try it out. And after a short period, I think it was less than a year when I vaped and I quit. So that was a bad habit. I quit that one. And true enough, I just said I wanted to try it. So I really just did try it. And it was not good. So a bad habit.
Can you give 5 tips in negotiating with a client in closing a good deal for your business? 5 tips. First is you have to recognize how the client negotiates as well. There are different negotiating styles, and you can read the book Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. That is a really good book about negotiation tactics. And he says that there are different negotiating styles per client. You have to identify that. Now, there are also people who negotiate in a way that they just want the facts straight up, give it to me, and give me the price, and I will decide and I'll get back to you. And they're fast in their decision making styles. Those are the dominant types. There are also people who wants a lot of data. Give me all the data and I'll analyze it, and I'll get back to you after a very long time of crunching the data and analyzing. And then there are people who negotiate in a way where they want to know you first, they want to ask your story, they want to chit chat a lot, and they want to know who they're dealing with. And we call that the I type or the influential type. And then there are people who really find it very difficult to make a decision, and we call that the steady or S types. And you have to know how the style of each one is going to be. And learning that takes a lot of experience and takes a lot of study. So this is why in sales a lot of people say, nah, you just have to do it. You just have to gain that experience. You have to go out there and break a leg. So first, know who you're negotiating with. And next, one other tip is always realize that people are always going to ask for a discount. That's the truth. Kahit gaano kamura yung product or service mo, they'll still be asking for a discount. So one tip I'm going to give you is make sure that your pricing has some buffer in it. It's not that you're cheating people. Don't make it super duper overpriced. Just make it good enough that you have some wiggle room if people ask you for a discount, because everyone asks for a discount. There's no client that doesn't ask for a discount. Either they will ask you for more free stuff, more pro bonos, bigyan mo naman ako nito because I'm paying you well. That's still a discount, right? Because you're still spending time and money and effort to do the pro bonos for them. So it's kind of like a discount, only in a positive way. So make sure that when you price, you have some wiggle room, some room to move. And this is why I always say in my talks, if you've ever heard me speak in a public seminar, that I do not like playing the vicious cycle game of cheaper alternative. I don't want to be the cheaper alternative. I don't want to play the game where pababaan tayo ng presyo, right? So the price war, yes, the price war. I don't want to play the price war because at the end of the day, everyone who is in that war loses. Your pricing, your industry will suffer as a whole, because if you keep on cutting your price, where are you gonna get the profits? You're gonna get it from the quality and the quantity of your product or service. And if you do that, it ruins the experience for your customers. And when the customer's experience is ruined, the entire industry suffers, because customers will start to say, that industry is full of cheaters. That industry is full of, companies or players that are not good, they're not trustworthy. And when the entire industry loses, painful for the economy, painful for our country, all the players involved. So that is one tip I'm going to give you. Make sure you have wiggle room with the pricing that you give. Another tip I will give you, and this is so important, learn how to follow up. Learn how to follow up. And when I say learn how to follow up, I'm not saying na mag-follow up ka araw-araw. Don't do it every day. Do it every other day, or do it every time that you feel like it's the right time. Okay? So I do it every other day, or sometimes I skip 2 days and I follow up again. And then when the client is super slow in responding, the potential client, sorry kasi hindi pa pala close yung deal. When the potential client is super slow in responding, usually I ask them, hey, can I contact you again after a week? Right? So there are clients who will tell you, we'll get back to you na lang. Don't follow up na. Okay? So may mga ganun. Pag ganun, you just have to wait a week and then follow up, or 2 weeks and then follow up. And when you follow up, don't be so brash and ask na, are there any updates from your end? Sometimes it's just a matter of, hi, how are you doing? Is there anything, or have you heard about what's happening today? It can be about current events. Open it up softly, and they will be the ones to get back to you naman with an update. Now, by the way, the deal with the SEO or the website, this is what's happening on our end. And when they give you an update, that's already a good step forward towards closing the deal, especially if the client is a big brand, it's a big client. They're not just going to be zooming in with you. It takes a long time. I have a potential client right now. I've been working on this deal for 2 years already, and they haven't closed yet up to today. And they're the kind of client who will say, um, "We'll get back to you. We'll get back to you." And then when I ask them, "Can I follow up with you next week, Friday, for example?" They're gonna be saying the same thing. We'll get back to you. So may mga ganun talaga eh. But you have to keep following up. Because following up also helps the client to feel that you care about the deal and you really want to get them as a client. And that tells them that you're going to be taking care of them because they mean a lot to you. Another tip, so we're on the fourth tip in negotiating with a client, would be, well, one thing that I do is, instead of giving a lot of discounts, I just give what I can give for free. I give what I can give for free. So I mentioned earlier that every client will ask for a discount. That's true. All clients will ask for a discount. And instead of me giving a lot of discounts, what I do is I give stuff for free. Stuff that I can give away and that will help me anyway in the entire engagement. So, for example, I don't charge for renewing the domain name kasi magkano ba naman ang domain name? Domain name costs like 2.5 a year if it's a .ph, 800 or 1K a year if it's a .com, org, or net. I don't charge for that. I give that for free. So there are stuffs that I give for free. I'm not going to name all of them here, but I do give a lot of stuff away for free so that the client will feel like they benefited even before the deal got closed. Sometimes clients want to feel that way. You just have to make them feel good because emotions play a part in decision making. It's not all about logic. It's not all about the mind. There, you have to make them feel good. So I give stuff away for free, and in return, they don't ask for a lot of discounts anymore. And that's a win for me because we are a monthly retainer kind of company. And if they don't get a discount on the monthly, that goes a long way for the new for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. The last tip that I'm gonna be giving you in negotiating with a client, would be focus on your counterpart. Okay, I don't say kalaban, or I don't say focus who you're negotiating against with, because it's not really against. You're not negotiating against someone. You're trying to close a deal, so you're on the same team, and the other party is just trying to get the best deal out of the entire thing, out of you, and you're also getting the best thing out of them. So I call it negotiation counterparts. So in negotiating with your counterpart, focus on what makes your counterpart happy. And we go back to my second point, which is try to identify what kind of person are you dealing with. Dominant ba yan? Influential, steady, or corrective, analytical? What makes them happy? For example, for dominant people, just give them the facts, the price, straight up. Maybe leave a gift, and that's it. Just be direct. They're happy about that. For people who are influential, they like a good chit chat. They like you to show them around, give them a good time. So leave a bottle of wine or some food, that always makes them happy. That goes a long way. Things that will smoothen the deal out, that helps. And it also helps a lot if you're likable. Don't be rude, don't be disrespectful. Make sure you're polite, but also make sure that you're politely strict when it comes to your pricing. Don't always wane when they ask for a discount na lagi ka na lang, sige, sige, bigay ko na. Mahirap yung ganon. Again, no one wins in a price war. Either one ends up wounded and one ends up dead. So don't do that. Besides SEO hacker, what business do you have and what learning can you share to us that pertains to these businesses? I have Queries, which is a software as a service company. The good thing I like about Queries is it's self-service. So people just sign up in the Queries website. If they like the product, they upgrade and they start paying monthly. And I built Queries because there was no better alternative during that time. And it was very expensive. So I built Queries so I can use it for my clients. Now we have 8,000 users, which is a lot. But yeah, we're using it for our own conversion optimization services. And so far, loving the results with our clients, and we use it to analyze a lot of stuff. So, software as a service, I think, is a very big deal, but it really depends on what industry you're playing in. Queries is definitely a not not it's really not sexy in the industry that it's in. It's a micro survey, so nothing is sexy about that. It's a very boring industry. And I chose to play there because again, during that time, not a lot of players, no alternatives actually, and I just figured I needed to use something that's not super expensive, and during that time ang mahal ng alternative. I also have aquascape.ph. We sell aquascaping stuff, plants, floaters. So that one right there, we sell those plants and those floaters and livestock, shrimps, fish. I have so many guppies, and I just give some of them away actually in my orders. Super daming guppies, so I just give some away. If you guys have an aquarium, you want some guppies, place an order in Aquascape, and I'll give you free guppies right away. So yeah, I have that one. That's a business I started during the pandemic. I also have I have what's my last one? I have Workplace and Sigil. Sigil is absorbed by SEO Hacker right now, so all of the creative people is in SEO Hacker, and Workplace right now is not operating because of the pandemic. It just doesn't make sense for us to accommodate one, two, three people in the co-working space, and then we have to again, how do you say that? We have to disinfect the entire area, and hindi sulit lugi siya. So we decided not to operate it na lang. I also have a couple of businesses that I'm still cooking in the kitchen, so I'm not going to be talking about that right now, but there are ideas definitely that we want to launch hopefully this year or next year. Next is, what limiting belief do you think most people have today that you think should be changed? How? What limiting belief? I think there are two kinds of people generally. Two kinds. The first one sees opportunity in chaos. The second one sees chaos and fear. The first kind of person has limiting beliefs, but they are good limiting beliefs. Meaning, if I do this, it's stupid for me to do this. I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to try this because there's an opportunity here through the pandemic. And that's why we have a lot of businesses opening and flourishing during the pandemic. The first kind of people, they're the entrepreneurs. They have good limiting beliefs. The second kind of people, they have chaos and fear, and they're just afraid, and they choose to just close shop, or fold up, and or they choose to let go of their people. And so the second, or the latter kind, it's tough because their limiting belief is themselves, no. Na they're fearful of the future. It's hard when you're afraid of the future, di ka talaga gagalaw when you're afraid that there's a lion out there outside of your front door, you're really not going to move. You're really not going to do anything. And that's going to eat you up because the world is still turning, inflation is still going on, and you still have to live, and you have expenses you have to pay for. So I think that overcoming the unnecessary fears in life is something that a lot of people have to achieve. There's a lot of ways to achieve that. Mastering your mind, and also making sure that your body is doing well. A lot of times the mind is affected by the hormones, affected by emotions, Again, emotions also would stem from the hormones, and that's because people live in a homeostasis state, meaning hindi tayo masyado gumagalaw. Nakaupo lang tayo, we're in front of the computer, we're in front of the TV, we're in front of our mobile phones. We're in homeostasis state, and that affects our hormones. And because our hormones are now going haywire, and we do eat chicken a lot, and we do eat fish a lot, and pork and beef, and they inject hormones in these meats as well, and our hormones are all over the place. We induce fear in our minds and in our hearts that is unnecessary, and that's why we see this generation is the most anxious and depressed generation since the beginning of history, sadly, no. And so, taking care of our body, the Bible says that the body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. So, taking care of it is super important. Make sure you exercise, take a walk 10, 15, 20 minutes, walk 2 kilometers around your subdivision. Doesn't take much. All you need is clothes, slippers, then get your ass out there. So, doing that goes a long way. Doing that every day, going out of your homeostasis state, changes the mind, changes how you think, eliminates fear. So there are so many things that you can do that would help you to overcome that limiting belief. Next question, top 5 movie recommendations that your subscribers or followers should watch. Marvel. Hello, there's a lot of Marvel movies out there, and if you want to learn about leadership, if you want to learn about management, watch Endgame. If you want to learn about sacrifice, watch the Endgame. So yeah, definitely Marvel movies. I'm a fan. Lord of the Rings. I'm a fan. The Hobbit. You can already tell how geeky I am. I am a geek, certified geek. I don't watch a lot of movies, but if I do, yeah, it's gonna be those movies. Soul from Disney Plus. If you can get Disney Plus, that's actually a pretty good movie. It's a 3D animated cartoon. I love 3D animated cartoons by Pixar. I just love watching that. There's a kid inside of me that is just so happy when I watch Pixar movies. So definitely watch those movies. That would, for me, they have a lot of things that helps me to realize stuff, about life. Makes me thankful about life as well. Next question, what brings you happiness? My family. Knowing that God is in control brings me happiness because I know that we have a good God who's in control. If our God is evil, then that's really going to make me depressed. But we have a good God. Knowing He's in control makes me happy. What makes me sad? When I realize that a lot of people are suffering because they don't know that we have a good God who cares about them, and they have a wrong perspective about God, thinking He's a cosmic killjoy. That is something that makes me really sad. Top 5 quotes or verses I live by. One verse I live by is keep lies far away from me, give me neither poverty nor riches, but only my daily bread. Otherwise, I may forget you. I may become too rich and forget you and say, who is the Lord? Or I may become too poor and steal and so profane your name. That is a verse from Proverbs. I believe I forgot the verse mismo, but that's something that I really hold dear as a verse. Another verse I live by, not just love but live by, is God Himself, sir, does not propose to judge man until the end of his time, so why should you and I? I forgot who said that. I'm so sorry. I really forgot who said these things, but you can type it in Google. Feel free to search what the verse is and who quoted that statement. And if you can live by them, the world will be a better place. Another quote I live by would be, I see every man has something that is better than you are. There is something in every man that's better than you are. So you have to consider every man or woman better than yourself. Wag mayabang. So that's I think Henry Ford is the one who quoted that. I'm not quoting it verbatim, so please feel free to search it in Google, and I hope that helps. How will I spend my Valentine's Day? At home. Save lives. Stay at home. And we also plan some. We're planning to to celebrate our anniversary. Me and my wife, our anniversary is Feb 22, so we're planning to go somewhere, but we want to go somewhere safe with the kids. We're not yet sure where that is. But we usually don't celebrate Valentine's Day Feb 14 because of the exaggerated prices. That's why. And since our anniversary is just nearby, it's Feb 22, then we'd rather celebrate our Valentine's in our anniversary day. Question from Cedric: since when did you start using eToro? I started last year. So it's not so long ago, but the gains I got's already mind blowing. See, I have a good number of investments. I have private investments. I have investments in forex, investments in stock. I also have my own stock investment. I have my local broker who's managed my funds in stocks here in PSEI, and only one investment that I have, only one private investment that I have, the sugar investment I have in Bacolod, performs better than my eToro investment. That is the only investment performing better than eToro. All the other investments I have, they cannot compare with the gains that I've been getting with eToro since last year. Who are the people I copy trade at eToro? Sadly, I can't copy Marvin Guermo. And yeah, I copy J Nemesis. If you've gotten any one of my emails about eToro, J Nemesis, definitely a person to copy. I recently copied Near Hedge, Nierhedge, and so far so good. I'm pretty happy with the performance. I also copied Return Invest, Matej Crank. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he is very conservative in how he plays, and so far I'm happy with how my portfolio is very balanced. I have people trading crypto, super aggressive, super risky, and I have people who just doesn't use like 50% of the equity I have with them, and they're playing super safe. So I could, why I use eToro is because I want to sleep well at night and make money while I sleep. That's the real reason why I use eToro, because my account is just copying everything that these really good traders are doing real time. One of the true passive incomes actually that we have in our world today is eToro. That's it. So you make money while you sleep. That's the true definition of passive income for me. That's why I do it. When doing copy trading at eToro, do you invest once on the person you're copying it, or do you add money every now and then? If they top up, I have to top up. Otherwise, the copy ratio will become imbalanced. So I have cash set aside all the time for that. Do you set a certain amount of money for investing every month? Yes, my strategy is to invest every month. I cannot do lump sum. So I just set aside a certain amount of money every month and I put it in eToro. And if there are people I want to copy, then I copy. And I keep on, I make sure that my money keeps moving, hopefully in a positive way, because eToro is stocks. You really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, next week. But all you know is that people who you are copying in eToro, that's what they do for a living. And the chances of them actually losing your money is almost impossible, right? They can make bad trades, but it's not often. It's quite rare. So I'm quite happy. I'm very happy with with the gains I'm getting from eToro. Did you apply to eToro so people will be able to copy you? No, I did not. I don't plan for people to copy me. Right now, the only person copying me is my dad, and that's because he doesn't want to manage his own portfolio at all, and he just wants to live the retired life and play golf. So, yeah. Do you allot a certain budget for the seminars or programs for your people in SEO Hacker? I do a lot of the seminars and workshops at SEO Hacker. I have my own certification. I'm a Reese Profile Master certified. I am getting my certification from the John Maxwell team this March. Right now, I'm part of their JMT. I am also going through their coaching program so I can coach my people. as well. My wife is a certified coach from Gallup Strengths. And the speakers I have that speaks privately for my team at SEO Hacker, such as people such as Randall, Jongson, Jason Law, Marvin hasn't spoken yet, but it'd be nice if he would. Um, there's a certain budget that I allot. So, minsan usap-usapan na lang kung anong gagawin natin, no? Francis Kong has also offered to speak, but I haven't had him for my team yet. So, that's the benefit of being part of the SEO Hacker team. You have these private seminars and you get the chance to ask Q&A after. And ilan lang kayo. So, there's just like 50 people, all SEO Hacker, all part of the SEO Hacker team asking these questions. Question from Mark Davis. How important is your journal? And how often do you journal? Right now, not so often. I wish I could journal more, like every day. I used to journal every day. My journal is super important for me. A lot of times when I feel down and out, when I feel down, generally, I have a problem with my team, I have a problem in business, or I can't see the future as well as I could, just like what happened last March when the pandemic hit and the lockdown started to come. I couldn't see that far at all, and there was no light at the end of the tunnel. Kasi during that time, di man natin alam na magkaka-vaccine na after 8 months eh. Vaccines are made and published and distributed after 3 years. So that was very frustrating. I usually go to my journal and write my heart out. That's how I de-stress. That's how I express myself. I know other people do it via social media, Twitter, Facebook. And I always say that it's not healthy because other people, these social media platforms, it's a public platform. If you vent out there, it's now fair game for your employer or team leader or whoever can see that post for them to consider that against you as a person, against your next financial review or financial raise if you're the employee and the employer saw that. No? So I always say just keep a journal and write your heart out there if you're not feeling so good. How do I keep my journal? Is it always with me? Not always, but it's right here on my work desk. So this is my journal. This is how it looks like. And it's a reloadable journal. After I'm done with one, I can reload it in this leather um, skin. I would say leather skin. It has a pen holder here. So I put my fountain pen there. I use a fountain pen to write, and my fountain pen looks pretty grisly now because it's been years since I had this fountain pen. It looks gnarly. Doesn't look new anymore at all. So yeah, my journal. I guess I you could say that it's always here in my work table because this is where I write, but it's not always with me. I would bring it though when I go on trips with my family where I know I would have time to journal. I would bring it with me. Another question from Mark Davis. What is your opinion about the privacy issues of big companies like Amazon and Facebook? Privacy issues. I think that if they put more premium on people's privacy rather than selling that and manipulating the data, it would make for a better world. But a lot of tech companies kasi they are in the business of making money. Tech companies are in the business of making money. They're not in the business of doing things morally right. So I'm not sure if we can fault them for that. But all I think is the world will be a better place if they respected the privacy of people better. That's what I think. Next question is: do you think China will soon beat us in terms of tech advancement? USA will beat USA in terms of tech advancement. Sure, I think they already did. So Chinese tech companies they don't have their heads under a rock. A lot of US tech companies, they're in for the profit, not really for the patriotism, not really to help their country. That's as far as I can see. I know Palantir is out there to help their country. They're not dealing with China at all. So Palantir might be a tech company that really cares about the US. They're a patriotic company. Chinese tech companies, though, they're pro-China. I mean, they're patriotic. Either they're forced to do it by the government, or they're just really patriotic, which is a good thing. So I think that in that way, China has already beat the US. They're making their country super secure. They are way ahead in terms of espionage, digital espionage, way ahead. And I wouldn't be surprised if one day we wake up and China's already way, way ahead of everyone else. Next question is: are you optimistic to crypto like Bitcoin? Elon invested a huge amount of Bitcoin recently. I'm invested in Bitcoin. So that's, yeah, that almost answers your question. Optimistic, I am, because when Elon invested in Bitcoin, it's already at the 41,000 per coin, 41,000 US per coin. That's when he invested. And I don't think that Elon is investing to lose. So I think that it's going to just hold at 41K for a very long time. So I'm pretty optimistic about it. Si Boss Marvin Germo, Master Marvin, just dropping by to say hi. I am a fan of Sean C. And I am also a fan of you because you have made a boatload of money through the crypto boom right now. So that's hats off to you, Mr. Marvin Germo. I hope I could copy trade you someday. Question from Zerg: trending business this 2021. Trending businesses. Anything that deals with the problem that we are facing, being locked down at home and staying safe for the benefit of everyone else out there, that's going to be a booming business. So any business that did well last year is still going to be doing well this year, because we don't know when herd immunity is going to kick in. Sabi nila 75% of the population has to be vaccinated first before herd immunity kicks in, and we are nowhere nowhere near 75% vaccination rate. So matagal-tagal pa bago tayo makakita ng herd immunity dito sa Pilipinas. I think going back to normal might be next year, not this year. It might be sometime next year. That's as far as I can see. Hopefully not. Hopefully I'm mistaken. Hopefully I'm wrong. But as far as I can see, it's probably going to lift somewhere first quarter next year. Also, possible future business potential. A lot. We have a lot of businesses that we can still do, especially in the tech. I'm a tech guy. I'm in the tech industry. There's just so much stuff we can do, especially here in the Philippines, where we are 5 years behind other countries, and yet our programmers are the ones programming for those countries 5 years ahead. So there are so much stuff, so much new innovations that we can do to help the economy, new businesses. It's unbelievable how much talent we have here, but it's being hired and used by countries abroad instead of here. Can you consider copy trading as a literal long-term investment? For example, 10 to 20 years. Yes, of course. I am invested and I invest long-term. I'm not a trader like Marvin. I am horrible at trading, really bad at trading. Marvin is, if there's an excellent trader, I know it's going to be Marvin Guermo, and he has made his, I dare say hundreds of millions in trading. So I'm not a trader, I'm an investor. I can't do it like Marvin does. Ang specialty ko talaga is doing business. So yeah, I consider it a long-term investment. 10 to 20 years for me. Yes, that is something that I plan to do. Hi, Len. Thanks for tuning in here. Yes, thank you. Hello to Marvin Dow. If Marvin is still here, I think Marvin is still here. So, yeah. From KB, question: how did you venture out to other businesses outside of your expertise? I actually did not. So, maybe you're asking this question regarding my aquascaping business because it's about fish and plants, nothing about digital marketing, right? But how I sell these stuffs is through the website aquascape.ph. So actually, if you search for Aquascape Philippines or the names of the plants, which by the way, ang hirap ng aquatic names ng plants and they don't have simple names. They're still carrying their scientific names. So for example, the green plant you see there, that's the biggest one. So I think you can see it from the screen. That's a Hygrophila corymbosa compact. Um, it's a long name. So when I realized that, I figured I could rank very well for it. And in fact, for a lot of the keywords, a lot of the plants, my website is already ranking number one. So in that way, I actually am still in the digital marketing field. That's still where I'm playing. And selling and growing the plants naman is not that hard. You can grow these plants and you can make sure that you grow them well. The selling them is the hard part. So that one I got covered because I actually rank for the names of the plants. So if you search, for example, Hygrophila corymbosa for sale Philippines, or just Hygrophila corymbosa Philippines, you will be able to find my website. And the only question there is if the potential customer likes the price, then he or she will buy. If not, then they will go on to shop around. And that's not really a problem for me because it takes a lot of time for me to cut, clean, pack, and ship the plants. And right now I'm doing it myself. So I'm happy with 1 to 2 orders a day. I'm happy with that. I don't want any more than that for now. And if it grows out of that, then maybe I have to hire already. I can't do it by myself. So yeah, I also realized that there was not a good website selling the aqua plants. There was no good website where you can sell aqua plants. So I started that business with that opportunity in mind. Question from Choa Cedric: do you see yourself as a potential tycoon decades from now? Only God knows. Only God knows. Yeah, that's as far as I can say. Um, I didn't quite understand your explanation about Bacolod investment. Oh, I have an investment in sugar farming in Bacolod. That's a private investment. I have a friend there who owns land and who owns sugar farms. So I invested in him, and he has produced mind blowing returns for 4 years now, I think. So every year it's a really good returns. That is the best investment I have ever made, hands down. And after that would be Etoro already. Question from Len. Good evening, Len. A senior researcher at the University of London said it takes an average of 66 days to form a habit. How do you manage your time to keep a new habit? 66 days. So let's break it down. Those 66 days doesn't just happen. Forming a habit takes a lot of planning. You have to plan to make the habit easy, because if doing the habit is difficult, for example, going for a walk outside is easy for me. I just have to wear socks, my rubber shoes, and I'm good to go. Of course, my face mask, and then I'm good to go. But if I am going to go out for cycling, for example, riding my road bike and going all the way to Danghari, I have to do a lot of things and prepare a lot of stuff. I have to wear my cycling shorts, my cycling vest, my helmet. I have to make sure that my wheels are pumped in the right PSI. I have to plan my route, or I have to carry the bike and ride it in my carrying vehicle and drive all the way to Danghari to be able to ride 40K, for example. So there's a lot of preparation to go there. And so forming that habit is a lot more complicated, takes a lot more effort. So the desire for me has to be very big for me to be able to make sure that I'm going to sustain that habit and do it 66 days so that it sticks. While walking outside, super easy. Wear my socks, rubber shoes, done. And that habit is super easy to do. If you read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, you would be able to identify and learn how to form new habits easy and how to break bad habits easy. Breaking bad habits is just the opposite of forming good habits. Make it super hard. For example, you're addicted to Netflix. How do you break that bad habit? Unsubscribe from Netflix, get your television, put it in the stock room. Every time you're tempted to watch, you have to get your television from the stock room. Makes it so hard. So you're gonna be able to break that bad habit very easy. But you have to really want to break that bad habit. How much do you desire to break that bad habit? How much do you desire to form that good habit? It depends on that. And then you have to plan ahead. Make sure that the new habit, if you wanna really form that, you make it super easy for yourself to do it. So for example, if I really want to go cycling in Daanghari, I have to make sure to prepare everything and make it super easy. Have at least five cycling shorts so I can do it every day, five cycling vests so that I can do it every day. Make sure that my car is has that easy rack where I can just put my bike, strap it on, and I'm good to go. You have to make it easy because if it's hard, you can't sustain it. It's not gonna be a habit for you. You're not gonna be able to form that habit. Next question is, how many times have you tried to become an early riser and failed? Quite a good number of times. Up until today, I'm still not an early riser. There are days that I rise early, like 6, 7 a.m., to go to the driving range, but it is not a daily habit. So when I wake up early, but the rest of the day is pretty wrecked. It's pretty wrecked because you have to be an early riser to be an early riser. You know what I mean? If you try to be an early riser and you're a night owl, you're pretty much wrecked for the rest of the day. That's who I am today. I'm wrecked when I wake up early. Do you believe that we don't have the same 24 hours? No, I believe that 24 hours, so we have per day, that's set in stone. You can't change that. But I do believe that we don't have the same priorities and we don't have the same amount of energy. Energy depends on how well you take care of your body and your mind. So people who takes better care of their body and mind has more energy. So we think they have more time, but actually they don't. They just have more energy. So they can do more in the time that they have. Next question. When you started your stock market journey, how much did you lose so far? I lost a staggering amount. That's what I could say. I lost a staggering amount. I lost an amount that if my future self would tell my past self, you would lose this much, I probably wouldn't start. That's how much I lost. The good thing about it, good news, I have recovered it and I have learned from it. See? And for me, the learning is the important part. I have been able to pay the tuition fee and get a lot out of that educational experience. So, if you're also in the same boat, don't give up. I'm shifting to copy trading because I realize no matter how good I get, I just don't have that energy to spend in prioritizing trading and investing and studying the market and studying other companies. Studying my company and my industry pa lang takes a lot of my energy na eh. So studying other companies, their profit margin, their P&E, their debt to equity ratio, it's just not my not my cup of tea. It's Marvin Germos. If you're listening in here, you want to start investing, you want to trade stocks, you want to learn more about it, you have to follow Marvin. He's not on Spotify, but he's on YouTube and Facebook. You have to follow him and learn. I learned a lot from him, and having that knowledge and that wisdom about the stock market has helped me even in doing copy trading. Believe it or not, even in doing copy trading, I still look at the candle uh the candle technique and I analyze technically on the stocks that people I copy are trading. Okay. KB, oh wow, thank you. Tech is the future. You're welcome. Yes, it is. Actually, tech is the today. It's no longer the future. We're living in the digital age. Tech is no longer the future. It is our here and now. We all have to realize that and open our eyes to that. Question from Johnny Isorena: how to deal with not so emphatic Gen X bosses or leaders, especially in sales settings? Personally, I am not so emphatic. My people would tell you that there are a lot of times when I am a tough boss. There are a lot of times when they would tell you I am straight up a jackass, probably. And how to deal with me, with a guy like me, show me some results. When you show results to people who are dominant, to people who are not empathic, we will be happy about you. Easy, super easy. But you have to show us results. That is the key. And I learned that in my John Maxwell certification course that I'm going through right now. That is how to make a guy like me happy. That's how to make a boss, Gen X, millennial. I'm a millennial. I wouldn't say that this is because the person is Gen X or a baby boomer. I'm a millennial. I'm like that. I'm not emphatic at all. Empathy is my weakness. It's the weakest in the strengths finder where they list 34 strengths. My number one strength is self-assurance. My 34th strength, yung pinakamababang strength ko is empathy. So, my wife, her number one strength is empathy. So, sobrang opposite kami. Sobrang layo namin in terms of our strengths when it comes to work and dealing with people. But it's, again, I just want to let you know, it's not so hard to make a guy like that, a guy like me happy. Just provide results. We're already happy. Um, Question from Zerg: must read self-development or business books? Maybe you mean self-help, no, or business books. Um, Jim Collins books, definitely really good read. I finished How the Mighty Fall just recently, but his book Good to Great and Built to Last, definitely must reads if you have your own business right now or if you plan to start. Ramsey's Entree Leadership, definitely a really good book as well. And I published my book, 50x Your Business. I talk about how I hire, how we fire people, and a lot of stuff about how I run the company, actually. So I was able, let me just try to share that with you. There we go. 50x Your Business. It is out now in Amazon. And it pains me to say it's just $5.19. Parang dalawang Starbucks coffee lang yung presyo ng libro ko. It's 30 plus thousand words. If I printed it in a book, it would probably be 170 pages, much like my CEO at 22. Wala pa akong hard copy nito, so you can download it in Amazon Kindle. If you have a mobile phone, then you could download it already in Kindle. I don't have it anywhere else except for Amazon Kindle, but you can buy this. And I put there everything that I'm doing as SEO Hacker, how I grew it from a one-man team to a 50-man team. And that's why the title is How to Grow Your Business, People, and Revenue the Right Way. The URL is leadme.ph/50x. Okay? That is the URL. Shortened URL yan to make it easy for you. But you can also just, I guess you can Google this 50x Your Business book, Amazon, and then you will be able to find this this result in Amazon. So yeah, you can buy this now if you want to learn more about how I do things in SEO Hacker, how I grew it from just me being a freelancer to what it is now. You can get this book. Costs nothing but 220 Starbucks orders. So I hope that helps. I'm gonna stop sharing that screen. And yeah, that is the last question. So again, if you enjoyed this, I have questions on Facebook. I have a question from Buenas Espina Bergeron. I just want you to know that I don't answer questions from Facebook, YouTube, or anywhere else except on Discord. So please join us on Discord. The URL is down here from .sean.c/Discord. Your question is really good, but unfortunately, again, I only answer questions from my community. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope is out there for the broadcast, but not for asking questions. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Joshua Antonio Pedro, shout out to you. And Boss JR Gun, shout out to you. Thanks for tuning in here. Good evening. So yeah, happy Chinese New Year, guys. Tomorrow is a holiday. We have the long weekend. I hope you enjoy. Am I working tomorrow? Yes, I'm working tomorrow. Hello, welcome to the entrepreneur life. I have client calls and meetings tomorrow, so walang pahinga for me. But yes, it is the Chinese New Year, and I want to greet you all. I hope you are able to plan ahead and have a good vacation ahead. Um, yeah, and take care if you're journeying to a remote place. Take care. Make sure you're safe. Practice the protocols. And if you are driving, please follow us on Spotify, leadme.ph/Spotify. That is the podcast where we are going to be publishing this recording as well. We're going to be turning it into an episode, and you can listen to it again as an AMA or Ask Me Anything. So, yeah, if you're driving, episodes are just 11 to 20 plus minutes, and then we cut it from there. I make sure it's jam packed with stuff that you're going to be learning from. We have published like 140 episodes already. Can you believe it? I started July 2019. 140 episodes. Guys, thanks so much for following. You guys make the podcast a pleasure and, just joy to do. So again, this is your host, Shansky. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for everyone on Discord, Cedric, Johnny, KB, Len, Patrick. Thanks for tuning in again tonight, and I will see you next week. God bless.